there's somebody we have to talk about. I did not want to make this video, man. I really didn't. And his name's Ninth Wonder. All right, so recently I saw something pop up on my Instagram feed, and it was none other than Patrick Douthit, aka Ninth Wonder, one of the great hip-hop producers, cemented his status ever since the listening, since we, found out about who he was and his story and the little brother story, which he was intrinsically connected to at the time. And he's gone on to produce for a who's who in hip-hop. You name it, he's probably worked with them in some capacity, some of the greats. But something popped up recently that really bothered me, and I saw it come across my feed. And somebody had asked this question about whether Ninth Wonder was legendary. And Ninth Wonder proceeded to respond on Instagram with, "I am, period, next question." And when I saw this, it made me feel some kind of way. I wasn't really sure how to take that, if it was in jest. But given some of the things that I've heard and have found out about Ninth over the years from people that he's worked with, from not everybody, but some people, certainly maybe those with A-type personalities. Fonte has been very out front about it. Rapper Pooh has said some things about it. And a slew of other people you hear kind of talking about these kinds of things. And it started to make me wonder, like, who is Ninth Wonder really? Yes, he is, in line with the greats like Premier and P-Rock, Diamond D, all the Digging in the Crates cats, anybody who's done boom-bap, DJ Scratch, anybody who's done boom-bap, especially in the golden era of the 90s, he's right in line with those cats. And the problem with this, and with what I saw, is the fact that, I reposted the story, and it bothered me this much. I don't know if it should, maybe it shouldn't, I don't know. But it bothered me this much, and I said, yikes, man, it was kind of came off mad, cringy, and arrogant. And sometimes it's good to let other people tell your story for you. For instance, like, I don't know if you guys have seen the Insights to Excellence interviews that Michael Jordan has done across NBA on NBC this year with Mike Tirico, where he sat down for a long-form interview and they broke it up into several parts. But recently, a few weeks ago, they asked him about the GOAT debate. LeBron, Kobe, him, who's the greatest of all time. And he said, listen, man, and not in so many words, he said, the GOAT debate is not even a debate to me because I didn't get to play against Bill Russell. I didn't play against Will Chamberlain. I didn't play against David Thompson. I didn't play that long against Dr. J, the guys that really, changed the game in their own ways also, that I modeled my game after. So that's something for other people to debate and talk about. If people want to say that I'm their GOAT, that's fine, and I'm thankful for that, but I'm not gonna make that something that I should say, because it's not something that I believe. Which I thought was an incredibly classy answer, and probably the way that things like this should be answered. You should let other people tell your story after you've said everything you need to say with your work and the things that you've done, your actions, right? Ninth Wonder has produced incredible songs for incredible artists, right? We all know what his pedigree is. We all know what he's capable of. We've seen the Mass Appeal Rhythm Roulettes. We've heard the songs on Jay's albums. We've heard the remix album with Nas. We've heard the remix album with Jay. We've seen what he's done with Rhapsody and Ghostface and a ton of other amazing artists, man, that has more than cemented his status as an incredible producer. However, the problem with the way he responded is self-importance, right? How much of a need do you have for validation that you have to answer that question yourself? It just came across mad cringy and just arrogant to the nth degree, like exponentially arrogant. And it kind of sours your perception of people, you know what I mean? Like, Ninth Wonder is an incredible producer. He inspired me, right? He's inspired me. A lot of his tracks have been the soundtrack to my life. But when you see things like that, you just really, and it makes you think twice about things, you know what I mean? And you start to wonder, man, who is this person really? And people are fallible, I'm not saying that Ninth isn't a good dude. I'm sure he's a great person, great family man, etc. And I'm not trying to be overly critical. However, I'm making this video to make a point, and that point is, let your work speak for you. You don't have to talk about how great you are. You can believe that you're great and what you're doing is amazing, because if you don't believe in yourself, who will believe in you? But there's a line, you know what I mean? There's a line that you draw somewhere in the mix that says, okay, I continue to do things consistently, and this is what I believe to be true. However, I'm not going to be the one to tell other people that. If what I do, and I'm speaking to myself now, if what I do is enough to affect one person positively or change someone's life, and they go out of their way to tell me that, or to make some kind of a statement about, you know, goodness or greatness, or, you know, doing things differently, or whatever the case may be, that's amazing, man. And I'm more than thankful for those kinds of things. And I think that even people that have reached a certain level of fame, fallible or not, should have the character to understand, yo, yes, I know that what I'm doing is great. And I'm practiced. I should be good at what I do, right? If I've spent the 10,000 hours and I've mastered something, then yeah, I should be, I feel like I've carved out my space. But other people should be the ones to debate that, not you. You shouldn't come in and say, yes, I'm legendary. Doesn't that just come off as like, I don't know, man, it's just weird. It just comes off like just mad arrogant. And so my advice, and this is just my 2 cents, it may not be anything to anybody, you know, because who am I? You know, I'm just some dude out here making tracks and just trying to take the creative journey. But I do know enough to know at, you know, in my 40s that, hey man, sometimes it's time to fall back and let other people make that statement for you, or don't feel the need to have anybody say anything at all, and just let your work speak for you. Because whether or not anybody says anything about it, or whether or not anybody clicks or likes or shares or says that you're legendary, or that what you're doing is so amazing, if you believe that it's true, that is ultimately, absolutely, unequivocally all that matters. So as you take your journey and you bask in the light of your creation and what you've been able to do, and you believe that it's good and it's changed the way you feel about yourself and what you're doing in a positive way, then man, that's all that matters. But if anybody else saw that, let me know what you think. Just kind of drop something in the comments. This is something I kind of want to drum up conversations. It's a little bit more poke the bear than what I normally do. I normally try not to be overly critical of anyone, especially in the creative space. But this to me had more to do with character than it did anything else. Do I still love Knife? Yes, man. I still love Knife. I think that what he's done is game changing. I think he continues to excel. And what he's been able to do for other artists has been, I'm sure, a great blessing in their lives as well. So, P, Knife, keep doing your thing, man. Just maybe, I would just say, man, maybe before you say anything like that, just kind of fall back and think about it. And everybody else who's watching, just before you say anything like that, or feel the need to validate yourself that way, just think about perception and how other people could view it. Because at the end of the day, it's about the work and letting your work speak for you, not you feeling you need to validate that yourself. So anyways, man, I know this video is a little bit outside the norm. I hadn't done a long form in a minute, so I thought I'd come back with something that was kind of a topic that we could talk about. But yeah, again, let me know what you think in the comments and drop some down there. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Hope you guys have been enjoying the beat content, everything I've been putting out. Trying to do a little bit more with the channel, trying to engage with the community a little bit more. But I really appreciate you guys for dropping in, man. And just can't thank you enough for taking the time to watch. So anyway, yeah, peace out, and I'll catch you on the next one. I'm out.